Are Filipino movies good? In both America and the Philippines, viewers would rather watch everything but Filipino, especially Korean, Western, and Spanish films.
Ako kahit anong kayod ko, kahit anong pagod ko, kahit kailan di ako lumapit sa galing mo.
Pero bakit kasalanan ko? Parang kasalanan ko.
While viewers today can agree that they watch and adore K-content, South Korea itself used to make pretty terrible films. It took them multiple spoofs and unlicensed remakes of Hong Kong and American movies for them to finally realize what they do best.
이거 왜 맛있어? 누구야?
전데요.
The film industry today is becoming way less Hollywood-centered and beginning to go global. Massive markets like India, China, and even Nigeria are challenging Hollywood's dominance and creating new pathways for cultural storytelling. Where does Filipino cinema stand in this new world of entertainment? Are Filipino stories being limited by a fixation on rom-com genres, Hollywood's approval, or is it something deeper? And can the answer for Filipino movie success actually lay in the hands of our own Filipino diaspora? I'm Leo Albea, and this is One Down, where we redefine Filipino.
It's corny.
Our cinema is dying.
And how it's coming back to life.
Parasite winning an Oscar and Squid Game becoming a Netflix phenomenon aren't flukes, but rather an accumulation of trial and errors leading to the powerhouse that is Korean entertainment. But for South Korea to actively grow its domestic film industry in the 1990s, they had to overcome 3 decades of Japanese occupation's strict censorship of Korean-speaking films, 3 years under US military government influencing Hollywood-style films, and a recession following the Korean War. From the bruceploitation and raunchy movie eras came the birth of the Hallyu wave, K-pop, K-dramas, and K-cinema, which are the result of a deliberate government strategy to improve their economic status. Through the financial backing of large companies like Samsung and the Korean Film Council system, their cinemas started to follow a screen quota law where they have to play a set amount of Korean films per year. KOFIC also runs an online screenplay market to easily access fresh and original concepts of different genres. Every year, they invest about $8.9 million to stabilize the Korean film industry. China, the world's most populous country, has leveraged its massive market size to influence Hollywood directly. Chinese audiences have become so crucial that Hollywood now tailors its blockbusters to appeal to them. How? By limiting foreign film screenings to only 34 each year and boosting its domestic production through social media and e-commerce. The result? China's 5th highest grossing film of all time, The Wandering Earth, earned $700 million globally. Then there's India. By engaging their massive worldwide diaspora through increased accessibility via streaming platforms and developing a distinctive style, think elaborate musical numbers and melodrama, Bollywood has become an established film industry, producing around 1,000 films annually. Films like 3 Idiots, grossing over $90 million worldwide, shows the power of this approach. And finally, we have Nigeria. They've become the world's 2nd largest film industry by volume, with a high-volume, low-budget strategy. By focusing on relatable local stories and creating innovative distribution networks, they've built Nollywood. An example of this thriving success is The Wedding Party, being one of the highest grossed Nigerian films, making $11.5 million. These countries have shown that success in the global entertainment industry doesn't require Hollywood's stamp of approval. By harnessing their audience's purchasing power and creating compelling content, they've forced the industry to take their stories seriously. So with these models at our disposal, is the Filipino film industry taking notes? When we think of Filipino movies, the words badoy or lame and love teams come to mind. But it's hard to accept its current state when Philippine film history proves us different. From the pioneer Jose Nepomuceno's Dalagang Bukid in 1919, all the way to 1950s until the 80s, renowned as the golden age of Filipino cinema, where the likes of Lino Brocka, Ishmael Bernal, Mike De Leon, Peque Galiaga, and Manuel Conde, to name a few, directed and produced exceptional films that represented not only the voices of Filipinos during their time, but also displayed our artistic potential in motion pictures. Yet too often, the process of greenlighting scripts depends on its marketability. It's the business side that makes producers prioritize sequels, prequels, and remakes over actually well-written stories. We can't ignore that the exhausting replay of the unrequited love, cheater mistress, and enemies to lovers tropes are what attracts numbers for now, but don't incentivize out-of-the-box storytelling. Without a track record of box office success, it's harder to secure significant budgets or wide releases. So what made it difficult? In the 90s, the Philippine government required a 30% amusement tax, and it wasn't until 2009 when the tax went down to 10%. But with the rise of the digital age, piracy, and censorship issues, Filipino filmmakers still depend a lot on ticket revenue, creating pressure for a movie to do well in cinemas. As movie producer Joji Alonso explains, for a film that earns 100 million pesos, 10% would go to the local government unit, or LGU, as amusement tax. But it doesn't end there. The producer would still have to split the 45% to the cinema owner, 12% for value-added tax, and 5 to 20% to the distributor. So if the revenue doesn't triple the budget it took to make it, the low profit made filmmakers scared of taking risks. This hurdle led the industry to churn out 350 movies to only 50 movies per year, with investors funding cheesy and formulaic movies that the public masses would easily consume. This is the same reason why cinemas would rather play international blockbuster films and rarely leave a slot for a local one. This has greatly affected the Filipino audience in terms of consumer taste and preference. If the cinemas don't push real Filipino narratives, our biases become skewed. As director Pepe Jocono summarizes it in his TEDx talks,
When you watch films from, say, Hollywood, your perception of the world becomes according to the way Hollywood dictates. That's why we have a pretty twisted culture, because we don't have a formation of what our identity is.
during the 2020 pandemic, director Eric Maddie also tweeted a controversial take about the Filipino audience preferring Korean entertainment than supporting our own. The daily top 10 most viewed on Netflix shows us how our movies and TV are doomed in the future. Faux Cinderella stories with bello-fied actors whiter than white. With negative replies to his opinion, a lot of Filipinos defended that Korean dramas are not just about love. Korean stories portray depth, unlike the poor quality mainstream movies we've had the past couple years. A noticeable change in the Filipino audience began during the 2022 Metro Manila Film Festival, where Vice Ganda's film entry, Partners in Crime, wasn't a usual box office winner. In fact, it was Mikhail Red's Deleter that top grossed over 500 million pesos. Director and FDCP chairman Jose Javier Reyes points out, the market who spends money for the festival was no longer the masa, who loved a good old traditional comedy. This one example alone shows the change in behavior in the Filipino audience. What if they want more than rom-coms and demand highly produced and well-written Filipino stories? It raises the need for funding and more manpower. When it comes to Filipino representation in America, One Down has actually supported many of the filmmakers and stories to hit the big screen. We've interviewed, featured, and marketed movies from Joe Coy's Easter Sunday, Dante Bosco's Fabulous Filipino Brothers, to Lingua Franca on Netflix. We've helped independent filmmakers fund their projects from Nurse Unseen, which is soon going on its theatrical run, to executive producing The Master Chief, which is now on Apple TV. But we've also helped the Philippines market in America, like Liza Soberano and Lisa Frankenstein, Don Bell for An Inconvenient Love, and Janela Salvador with Mayari. Within our team, we have over 3 billion organic views under our belt, and we want to use this experience to support work that benefits the Filipino community. So if you, your business, your brand, or your creative project are looking to deeply reach the Filipino American or global Filipino diaspora, we'd love to talk. Check out our website here on how to work with us and learn more about our program, the Filipino Audience Growth Accelerator, on how we can connect you with the Filipino community. At present, the Filipino film industry seems to finally be taking action. While we undeniably find mainstream films profitable, the Film Development Council of the Philippines, or FDCP, together with the National Commission for Culture and the Arts and native filmmakers, have made remarkable efforts to value and highlight our independent films. 1. Accessibility. One of the biggest challenges of Filipino cinephiles around the world is the accessibility to watch our local movies. Strict piracy and limited indie screenings have left over 10 million Filipinos living abroad blindsided to Filipino film classics. Other than Netflix, Prime Video, and Movie increasing their collection, FDCP created a dedicated streaming platform called OneFlix, which holds our national film treasures such as Manila in the Claws of Light, Genghis Khan, and Inxiang, now available to watch online. Chair and CEO Jose Javier Reyes further shares good news that they have the Philippine Film Vault, which houses many surviving old Filipino films and continues to restore more. In 2023, FDCP also created the Academic Film Society, a network of filmmakers and students who held a convention in September to commemorate the anniversary of the Filipino film industry. If the Filipino diaspora has more exposure to Filipino narratives, we're able to support our filmmakers through a staggering online presence. Imagine if the high revenue is consistent. This will dictate the future quality films we'll produce. Number 2, industry connections. Our works have been acknowledged on the global stage through film festivals, from local ones like MMFF, Cinemalaya, or Q Cinema, to its international counterparts such as Cannes Film Festival, Sundance Film Festival, and Soho International Film Festival, which all serve as an opportunity to connect young and experienced filmmakers alike and spotlight talented Filipino actors. This domino effect of recognition prompted the very first Manila International Film Festival, held in Hollywood last January of 2024. Another golden opportunity for film industry representatives to meet. Fear in Pictures, a Bangkok-based film funding event that started in 2017 as a collaborative effort to help Southeast Asian film industries achieve international success, awarded the Philippines 3 out of 4 production grants during the spring 2024 round. 3. Protecting filmmakers. Last January, FDCP President Terzo Cruz III met Interior Secretary Benjamin Abalos to discuss challenges in the movie industry. Abalos suggested a temporary pause of the 10% amusement tax to local productions, while foreign films would still have to pay, appealing to the need of raising funds to stabilize our domestic productions. A month after, the Metro Manila Council approved the notion for the next 3 years as a start. This good news could serve as launching pads, building top-notch productions and promoting Filipino stories that can compete universally. By focusing on this progress, the future of Filipino cinema doesn't lie in chasing Hollywood's validation. It's about creating our own path, honoring our stories and talents, and realizing that films are important. It impacts not just our economic status, but also globally impacts the Filipino audience. Director Pepe Jocono proves this sentimental point. It's important for us to see ourselves on the big screen. It's important for us because that's our projection of who we are and who we want to be. By supporting local Filipino movies first gives us a strong foundation, and once we fully mark our presence on the world stage, we can then ensure that all Filipino voices around the world will be heard loud and clear. In this new era of universal storytelling, we don't need to be the next Pinoy would. We can celebrate the golden age of cinema that thrived in the past, while we as a collective effort are able to claim it back once and for all. Thanks for watching. We are One Down, an independent Filipino media company. We work to make content like this accessible to everyone, but producing it isn't free. If you want to support our mission, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. We call this simple ask our Kapwa code. Your support means everything to us. And if you want to work with us, again, follow the link here to check out our website and learn more about our Filipino Audience Growth Accelerator. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.